guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on the look I'm wearing right now. I'm also going to be doing a first impression, swatches, and review on the new Morphe Jaclyn Hill collaboration. She previously did a palette with them, which was her favorite color. She just picked out of their single shadows. Now this palette, however, is very different in the sense that she did create all of these custom shades. It did take her 2 years, so let's see if it lives up to the hype. I'm going to tell you if I think it's worth it. I'm going to go over all of my thoughts, and we're going to do swatches. So if you're interested in my opinion and seeing how I created this look with the new Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette, then please keep watching. Starting off with packaging, the palette is white with silver writing. It says the Jaclyn Hill palette Morphe. It is a cardboard component, and then here's what the palette looks like. You get 35 shades and a big array of matte and shimmers and a couple satins. I think she did a great job including quite a bit of mattes because those are going to be the ones you're going to build your looks on, and then still quite a bit of shimmers to pop on the inner corner or on your lid. There's a lot of neutrals. The one thing I will say is a lot of these shades are very similar in my opinion. Like these two shades are very similar. I would have swapped one out. These two shades are very similar. Again, I would have swapped one out. Do I think these colors are beautiful? Yes. Are they mind-blowing like you've never seen them before? No. Now I know that the price is $38 for this palette, so it is more expensive than most Morphe palettes, obviously because she custom made the shades and the packaging and everything is very different. People were saying they would have liked to see a mirror. I think it would have been a great addition, but again, it's not going to make or break my purchase. This palette launches on Wednesday, June 21st. I will have all the information down below. Follow me on Snapchat again, and I will tell you guys all about it. I have swatched a few shades on Snapchat, and I did this eye look today, so you will see going forward how the shadows perform on the eye. Now, depending where you live, the shipping is going to be quite a big difference. If you're in the States, shipping is going to be about $8, which is not bad at all. To ship a palette, you've got to make sure that it's not going to break. It kind of typically has to come in a box, so it's a little bit more expensive to ship, which I do understand. If you're in Australia or Canada, the shipping is going to be pretty high, which I'm sure you guys are used to. Unfortunately, that sucks. I know sometimes there are customs as well, so it's going to make the price of the palette a lot higher than it would have been if you're in the States, which is, it just sucks. There's nothing that really anyone can do about it. You just have to decide, is it worth it? Is it worth spending the extra money to ship it and the customs to really get this palette? Do you have your heart set on it? Are these shades that you would use every day? Do you love Jaclyn? Do you love Morphe? So now that I've gone over the price and the launch date, I'm going to show you some swatches. We're going to do arm swatches. So I'm going to do finger swatches and also brush swatches so you can see how the pigment is on the skin. So now that we've gone over the swatches with finger swatches and brush swatches, I'm going to get into the actual tutorial. You will see me applying all of the shades to my eyeballs and see how everything blends. So let's get into the tutorial. Alright guys, starting off the tutorial, I'm going to mix these two shades from the palette and I'm going to use this as my kind of outer corner color. We're going to build this up as we go. So I did apply tape to the corners of my eyes to give me that sharp line. You can do this or you can just do it normally and then wipe with a makeup wipe, but I did this because I already had foundation on. So I'm applying to the inner and outer corner of my eye, and then I'm going to go into this shade, which is a little bit more neutral, and we're just going to keep building. So I'm going to apply to the outer V of my eye, really close to that tape, and then I'm going to put a little bit on the inner corner of my eye as well. And then I'm going to go back into the palette into this kind of reddish brown orange shade, and I'm going to layer up again. I'm using the new Wayne Goss brushes I bought, and they're really, really nice. I don't know if they warrant the price yet. I'll let you guys know as I keep using them, but I'm just building up the inner and outer corner of that halo eye. Now going into this deep chocolate color to really kind of make it dark on those outer corners. I'm using a more defined pencil brush, and you don't have to be super, super precise because we are going to put a color on the middle of the eye, so just focus on getting that inner and outer corner. And then I decided I wanted to mix these two. We have like a metallic forest green and a metallic turquoise, and I wanted to mix them to make a teal color. So I did spray my brush with Fix Plus, and I just mixed them both, and it was beautiful. I mean, you can see here it just applies super easily, really pigmented. I didn't have a ton of fallout, so I was pretty impressed with that. And now I'm going into that reddish shade again, and I'm just going to sweep around above that just to make sure there's no harsh edges before we go in with liner. So I decided to do a winged liner right where my tape was. I peeled my tape off, and I'm just doing winged liner on both sides. I'm using the M Cosmetics brush tip liner pen, which is phenomenal. And now I'm going to conceal. So I waited to do my concealer because of the tape. I'm going in with the Tarte Shape Tape in Light Sand pretty heavily because this is a dramatic look and I really wanted to have that bright under eye. So I'm using a beauty blender to really stamp it into the skin. One thing I've noticed is if you smear, you're gonna lose coverage. So just try to really press it into the skin with your beauty blender. I don't know why I get like crazy eyes. I feel like I literally get like Ramona housewife crazy eyes when I'm doing my concealer. That's embarrassing. Then I'm gonna set it with the Natasha Denona powder. Phenomenal, talked about it a million times. If you don't have it, you should try it. And I'm gonna bake under my eyes and then pretty heavily just around my chin area and above my lip just to brighten up a little bit. And then I'm going to use a big brush to just blend that powder all over and really set the rest of my face. I love this powder. It's so good for just multiple things. So after I set my face, I'm going to go into the Urban Decay Shapeshifter palette. Love this. I'm in the light medium one. And I'm using a Benefit Hula brush. Literally, how basic is that? But I love this brush. It's so easy to just like get into your like cheekbones. So contouring up, and then I'm going to go into the Morphe 9B palette and use this pretty shade for my blush. And I'm going to use a lot of blush because we all know I love it, man. I like pack that shit on like a baby doll. So I'm going to apply some lashes after that. I'm using Samantha's from Huda Beauty. These are never failed me, just super easy, super beautiful lashes to put on. So I'm just going to pop those on, make sure that the corner is secure, and then we're going to start on the lower lash line. So again, going into that reddish kind of orangey brown shade, I'm using a pencil brush and I'm going to sweep this on the lower lash line, heavier on the outside, and then just kind of fading in. And I'm just going to keep building this up. I did like 3 layers maybe just to build up intensity, and then going back into that really deep chocolate color with a smaller pencil brush. We're going to go over that just to deepen it a little bit. I admittedly am not the best at my lower lash line. Once my like lower lash line, I'm over it. Are we done? Like I focus on the lid and then I kind of forget about the lower lash line. Whoopsie. So now I'm going to apply this teal liner to my waterline from Marc Jacobs. I just thought it would go well with the look. And then I am going to highlight. I'm using the Huda Beauty highlighter. This is the gold Sands one. Really, really pretty. I wet my brush with Fix Plus and I'm just going to sweep this on my cheekbones. It's a really beautiful gold highlight. Not too crazy intense, but just enough to kind of give you that pizzazz. And then I'm going to put some mascara on my lower lash line just to really balance out the eyes. And then we're going to move on to lips. I am going to line my lips. I'm using Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. This is literally so good. This is literally life. Like you need it. It's just like the perfect lip liner. So after that, I am going in with the Huda Beauty liquid lipstick. I believe I'm in the shade Wifey, and it's just like a light peachy pink nude, and I'm applying that all over the lips. And then I decided to go over that with a YSL kind of balmy lipstick. I had to add some moisture, and that completes the look. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned right now for my final thoughts about if the palette is worth it or not. Alright guys, so that is it for my tutorial. Now I'm going to give you my final overview of what I think of the palette, do I think it's worth it, and if you should purchase it or not. My overall opinion of the shadows that they are blendable, pigmented, and very, very pretty. I didn't have any problems blending them as I said in the clips prior. Do I think that these shadows are mind-blowing, the best shadows I've ever used? No. Do I think that they're good quality and that they will blend beautifully to create some beautiful looks for you? Yes. Do I think the palette is worth it? For $38 in the States, yes, I do think it's worth it. You do get 35 shades and you get a lot of color to play with, so you can mix and match and come up with quite a few looks. As far as if you're in Australia or Canada and the shipping is crazy, that is up to you. It's really hard to gauge because I know you guys are probably used to paying a lot for shipping and customs, and that sucks. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. So you have to decide if $80 or $90 is worth it to you, and it's all relative to your budget and how much you're willing to splurge on a palette. If you think you're going to use this palette every day and the colors really speak to you and you feel like it's just you in a nutshell, then yes, I do think it's worth it. If you think it's a palette that you might grab once in a while, then maybe it's not. For me, I am a makeup collector, so if I wasn't sent this, I would have bought it. My Snap fam can attest to that. I really just buy all new releases because it's such a passion for me, but it's really up to you and how much money you think is worth throwing into a palette. So is the quality great? Yes. Are they better than Morphe's typical shadows? I would say a little bit. I see a little bit of a jump, a little bit more creamy, a little bit more moisturizing. That kind of sounds weird because they're powders, but just a more creamy feel. So I think that the formula is definitely a little bit different, a little bit stepped up in terms of quality, but I also think that regular Morphe palettes are great. I don't have problems blending them. So I do think it's pretty comparable to the typical Morphe formula, just a little bit notched up. So that is my final review, my thoughts of the palette. If you have any questions or comments down below, please leave them. I know people feel strongly either way. They're die-hard Jaclyn fans, or there's people that are going to be negative, and I understand everyone has a different opinion. There's going to be people that are going to hate and people that are going to love. So let's keep the comments clean and nice. This was my review. Overall, I hope you take it with a grain of salt because you are the consumer and you make your own decisions. If the palette's screaming your name, girl, you get that palette. If it's not, then don't worry about it. You don't have to do everything that everyone's doing and you don't have to feel bad about it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully I gave you some insight with the swatches and just watching me apply it and seeing how they perform. Let me know down below if you're going to pick up the palette. It's a gorgeous palette and I know a lot of you are crazy excited to get it. So let me know if you pick it up. If you do create any looks, tag me. I'd love to see them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.